Hello everyone, myself Mrs. Vidya Wable, Assistant Professor at ASMS College of Pharmacy. Today I am going to discuss limit test for chloride. Now after this presentation, what are the outcomes of this PPT? It gives you idea about limit test, so definition of limit test, importance of limit test in pharmaceuticals, and we will discuss limit test for chloride in detail, its procedure, how to observe and inference. First, we will see definition of limit test. So, limit test is quantitative or semi-quantitative test designed to identify and control traces of impurities. There are different sources of impurities in compounds. So, from where this impurity comes. So, normal analytical errors that occur during test can also give you impurity. Acceptable variation in manufacturing processes, then acceptable deterioration of the substances. Now, how much impurity is harmful? It depends upon actually the types of impurities. For example, arsenic and lead. If this type of impurities are present in your compound, the small quantity of this impurity may give you harmful effect. Harmless impurities are also there. For example, chloride. In higher quantity of chloride as an impurity can be acceptable or allowed. The different types of limit test observation. So how to identify or how to observe limit test result. So we can use comparison method, quantitative determination method, or test with no visible reaction. In comparison method, we need to compare the color of test solution and standard solution. In quantitative determination, we are going to measure the quantity of foreign matter which is present in the compound. And in test with no visible reaction, we can use determination of pH of the solution and the color of the solution. This is the observation methods for the limit test. Now, in comparison method, how to do this comparison method? In which we are going to compare the color or turbidity which is developed in sample solution and the standard solution. What is the principle behind this comparison method? If the sample is lighter or less turbid than the standard solution, then foreign matter is within the limit. So it indicates the quantity of impurity in the sample is less than the standard solution. If sample is darker or more turbid than the standard solution, indicates the foreign material or impurity is less in this more in the sample solution than the standard. So it is rejected one or it not follows the limit. Color should be compared against white background, and if your limit test gives turbidity as a result, we need to compare it against the black background. Solution must be seen transversely. So this is what the example. If it is the color one, you can see over here sample 1, standard, and sample 2. In sample 1, color is faint or lighter than the standard one, so it is accepted. In sample 2, the color is darker than the standard, so it is rejected. In a second diagram, the sample 1 is less turbid than the standard, so it is accepted. And in sample 2, it is more turbid than the standard, so it is rejected. Now, what are the requirements for the to perform limit test? Maximum limit tests are performed by using noseless cylinder. So, is there any specification for noseless cylinder? Yes. So, the specifications for noseless cylinder as per IP 2010 is it should be clear gases with normal capacity of 50 ml. Overall height is about 15 centimeter. External height to the 50 ml mark. 11 to the 12.4 centimeter. Thickness of the wall should be 1 to 1.5 mm and thickness of the base should be 1 to 3 mm. The external height to the 50 ml mark of the cylinder used to test must not differ by more than 1 mm. So this is what the diagram which gives you idea about the measurements and the specifications of noseless cylinder. Now we will discuss limit test for chloride. So the principle behind limit test of chloride is we are going to identify chloride as an impurity in our compound. So chloride limit test is based on the precipitation of chloride ions as a silver chloride. We are using here silver nitrate to precipitate chloride ion in the form of HgCl. And for that we are using dilute nitric acid also. So the turbidity of the test solution is compared with the standard turbidity obtained from the solution containing known amount of chloride. So in standard solution we have to use known amount of chloride quantity. So the comparison is performed by viewing transversely the opalescence of the test and standard solution against dark background. The reaction involved in limit test for chloride is chloride ion reacts with AgNO3, that is silver nitrate, in presence of dilute HNO3 nitric acid, gives you AgCl precipitate plus NO3 ion. Now, as we are using different chemicals for this limit test, what is the role of these chemicals? So the first, role of silver nitrate. Silver nitrate reacts with chloride ion and forms white precipitate. Now next is the requirement to perform this test is acidic environment. Why we required acidic environment is AgCl precipitate does not solubilize in acidic environment. So we required our test environment acidic in nature. If we are using higher pH or basic environment, silver interact with hydroxide anions and can form precipitate in the form of AgOH. So we have to use acidic environment for the test. To give you acidic environment, we are using dilute nitric acid. So it provides acidic environment to the solution. It again forms nitrates of metals ions that can be present as impurities. Almost all the inorganic nitrates are soluble and thus they cannot add it to AgCl precipitate. So this is the basic role of nitric acid in limit test of chloride. Procedure to perform limit test for chloride is we are going to perform two solutions. One is test solution and another is standard solution. So first prepare solution of test substances as directed in monograph of test substances. How to take 10 ml of standard NaCl solution containing chloride limit quantity, that is ppm, specified in monograph of test substances. Now remaining reagents are common in both sample, that is test, and the standard. So you have to add 10 ml dilute HNO3 in both. Add water to make 50 ml of the solution in each nasal cylinder. Then add 1 ml of 1% AgNO3 solution in each. Stir both the solution and keep aside for 10 minutes. Now what is the observation for limit test of chloride? Compare the opalescence produced in the test solution and the standard solution. Now inference by comparing this opalescence is if opalescence produced in test solution is less than the standard solution substances, passes the limits test so for chloride as per IP 2010. So it indicates the percentage of chloride as an impurity is less in test solution than the standard one. If opalescence produced in test solution is more than the standard solution substances, fails limit test for chloride as per IP 2010. So it indicates percentage of chloride as an impurity is more in test solution than the standard. Now summary of this PPT is, from this you come to know what is limit test, definition of limit test, different types of limit test, that means how to find out the result or observation of limit test, and limit test for chloride, which includes its principle, procedure, observation and inference. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.